Howdy folks, Cal Kellogg here. We are in the midst of a rip-roaring salmon bite, ocean salmon bite, here off the coast of Northern California. They're catching fish out of Bodega Bay, they're catching fish out of Half Moon Bay, and they're catching a ton of fish out of the Golden Gate. Nothing creates excitement like ocean salmon fishing for Northern California anglers, but it also creates a lot of questions and a lot of stress. Most guys don't have a boat capable of going out for salmon. So if they want to go get them, they need to go on a charter boat. That's a very specialized type of fishing. It's somewhat primitive, but it causes a lot of confusion. So I thought I'd go over the kind of gear I use when I go out on a charter boat for salmon. My first charter boat salmon fishing trip took place in 1985, and I've literally been out there hundreds of times. This is going to be a series of videos. We're going to talk about the terminal rig a little bit later in another video. Today, I just wanted to talk about rods and reels. Honestly, I don't use anything fancy. This is my #1 rod for charter boat ocean salmon fishing. And give you a little background on the type of fishing we're doing, and I'll put a link down below to one of my previous videos, kind of show some more of the rigging and stuff, and I'm going to be making more of those videos going forward here in the very near future. But most of the time when you're trolling from a charter boat, you're going to be using a weight, usually 2.5 to 3 pounds. It's rigged on a sinker release and it falls away when you hook a salmon. Sometimes the weight may be as much as 4 pounds. Sometimes you can scale it down to 24 ounces or maybe even 1 pound, depending on where you are on the boat and what the situation is on any given day. But most of the time, you can count on using 2.5 to 3 pounds of weight. Now, as I said, when you hook a fish, the weight falls away. Well, that's all fun and games, but most of the time when you reel in, you're not going to have a fish on your line. You're going to have that weight on your line. It's a big round cannonball, lots of water resistance. You're going to be reeling in to check your bait. You're going to be reeling in to clear weeds off your line, stuff like that. So it's a very tough type of fishing. It's tough on tackle and it's somewhat tough on anglers. So and for that reason, I use tough tackle. I use Shakespeare Ugly Stick Tiger rods. I've got 2 rigs that I use when I go out salmon fishing right here. This is my #1 rig. I might have already said that, but this is my #1 rig. It's a 7-foot Ugly Stick rated for 30 to 60 pound test line. This is a heavy action rod with a fast action tip. It's an inexpensive rod, ton of power, ton of lifting power, stuff like that. I've got it paired with a US Senator. It's a Penn reel. It's the narrow Senator. It's the 113N. It's a 4/0. It's old school. It's slow. It's like a winch though. It's very strong, and I've got that spooled up with 65-pound test Yozuri braid. Back in the day, ocean salmon fishing was all about mono, and now it's all about braid. Everybody you see out there uses braid. It has less stretch. It cuts through the water much better. It's much stronger. It's just the benefits go on and on and on, okay? Now, my backup rig, and I take 2 rods. One is my primary. The other one is my backup. Here's my backup. Same exact rod. Same exact 65-pound Yozuri braid, but this one is teamed with a Penn Phantom 25 weight lever drag. Now, the reason I favor the big 4/0 Senator over the Phantom is because of those big sinkers. It's tough on tackle. The last time I went out, the fellow fishing next to me, he had 2 reels break, primarily from reeling in those big sinkers when he didn't have fish on. And I'm just afraid if I use this Phantom for any length of time with those big weights, I'm going to break that reel. And that's more of a reel I use for lingcod jigging and stuff like that. But I do bring it as a backup in case I have a failure with my primary rod. And having said that, they have plenty of rods on the boats that are dialed in, mostly big Senators, 4/0s, 6/0s. That's what they use on the charter boats. So, you know, why reinvent the reel? Those guys know how to catch fish. They know how to catch them consistently. So, bottom line is, you need a big, powerful reel. You need 65-pound test braided line and you need a 7-foot powerful rod. Doesn't have to be an expensive rod, doesn't have to be a graphite rod. Actually, I would prefer a composite or a fiberglass rod. Sensitivity is not required. You're going to know when you're trolling along at 3+ miles an hour and you hook a 20-pound salmon. Believe me, you don't need sensitivity. You're going to know there's a salmon on the end of that line. When you're just trolling along and you got that big sinker on there, you don't need sensitivity then either. You're going to know the sinker's on there. You're going to see that rod bent, and it's pulling through the water. This is power fishing. Moving on, let's talk about the benefits of heavy tackle when you've got a salmon on the line. Now remember, you're using a single barbless hook. So the longer you fight that fish, the more he's going to wiggle around, the bigger that hole is going to get, and the better chance you have of losing the fish. So, big tackle, get the fish in faster. The quicker you land them, the better off you are. And I gotta say, when I go out on a charter boat trip with 20 to 25 other anglers and I'm salmon fishing, I'm not looking to look cool and fight the salmon and say, "Oh boy, Brad, what a run." No, I'm looking to put fish in the box. It's sort of like commercial fishing. So you want stout gear, you want to fight those fish as quick as possible and get them in the box. And always listen to the deckhand. He is going to coach you when you're fighting that fish, and he's going to set you up for success. That's all he does. All day, every day. He nets salmon from a moving charter boat surrounded by other fishing lines. So pay attention, follow directions, and you're going to have a big old smile on your face. It's a super effective way to fish, but you got to bring the right gear, you got to bring the right mindset. You got to follow instructions, keep your eye on the prize. The prize isn't fighting the salmon, the prize is putting them on the barbecue. You do everything right, you're going to be lucky. Last time I went out, I had a limit of salmon in the box within an hour, so it was awesome. Heavy gear, listen to instructions, you're going to be successful. Anyway, this is Kel Kellogg signing off. We don't get salmon fishing like this every year. I suggest you sign up. If you have any desire to get an Ocean Run King, sign up for a trip right now. You never know how long a salmon bite's going to last. The fishing is excellent. The conditions are great. There's a bunch of whales out there, lots of brown water, and it's just on. So get out there and get after them. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you next time right here on YouTube, and be watching upcoming videos. I'm going to go through the terminal rigs. I'm going to talk about how to bait up, talk about flashers and attractors and all that kind of stuff. It's Kel Kellogg signing off. I'll catch you later.